What is everybody? Welcome back to Truth and Transparency. Turtleboy, motion to intervene. This is featuring a Plow session by the OKeefe family in the Reed civil case. This was filed yesterday, right before Cinco de Mayo. So may the 4th be with you. And what's significant in it, if you ask me, is the material that they are seeking, right? We're going to go through this, is not being objected to by the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. But what's relevant here is all of the orders from the judge in the civil case for Karen Reed didn't dismiss anything except for one claim. But this emotional distress, it all comes and stems from Turtleboy and Karen Reed conspiring, or whatever you want to say, working in concert to create, after John O'Keefe's death, that just wasn't what they suffered, but it was after that, then more suffering was from this concerted effort to create this false narrative and do all these things that we've seen play out. So welcome in. Today is Cinco de Mayo. Obviously, Turtleboy has a Fifth Amendment interest to remain silent, and they're going to take up his, criminal case first. But there are deadlines with discovery, and we're approaching those. So as far as the civil case goes, it's like, hey, we need to get this material so that we can begin to prepare for our depositions. We're having depositions, the Reed family is saying, like with Karen, with Turtleboy, and we need this information. So again, this is nothing to do with the O'Keefes are not suing Turtleboy. That's not what this is at all. This is a motion to intervene in Turtleboy's criminal case and to get the material that the Commonwealth possesses of Turtleboy's devices and to be able to use those, obviously, because like if they were to serve him with a subpoena and for him to produce records for them in their deposition and then at trial. So this has everything to do about getting material to prepare for their depositions of Karen Reed and Turtleboy, as well as their case. Again, let's take a look first at this exhibit here, Schedule A. Now, hold on. They're asking for a protective order that they already have in place just to be extended to this material as well. They have the blessing of the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office in terms of, hey, we're going to give you guys all of the stuff, because Turtleboy has not returned any, he was supposed to get back within, I don't know if it was 14 days, whatever the heck it was. And he didn't respond back to the request for materials. And so it's like, then they reached out to the district attorney's office saying that they needed stuff. They've come to an agreement with the Reed family, or not the Reed, but the O'Keefe family and the district attorney's office finally came to an agreement that, hey, we're going to give you all of this stuff. Okay. The judge just has to sign off on this being all part of this protective order. So the O'Keefe family alleges communication, obviously, between Aiden and Karen Reed, which he's saying is discoverable. Okay. Which they're saying, and it is. It is. The thing that's interesting here is that Aiden Carney was never represented by anybody of Reed's team. So none of his communications with her lawyers, which he's had plenty of, are protected, meaning he can't claim any type of protection on that. And Aiden Carney used to, and I think still does, record people when he shouldn't. And the devices that they took on October 11th, 2023, devices such as laptops, hard drives, things of that nature, cell phones, he made it a business practice of his that he would record people when he wasn't supposed to without their knowledge, and then conveniently save those on a device or a hard drive, external hard drive, whatever it may be that he chose to do that with. But sources claim that his laptops are loaded with this shit. Loaded. Meaning, Cosgrove is just one man going through all of Turtleboy stuff, but he's making a case, a criminal case, and it's totally different, right? He's staying within the parameters of his criminal case. Now, what the OKeefes are going to be able to do is they're going to have a team of people going through his shit, not just one man, and going through his shit for the purposes of this civil case against Karen Reed. And they're going to use Turtle Tits badly. Okay. Now, again, he has an interest here to, he has a competing interest because he has this pending criminal matter. So he has like the Fifth Amendment that he can use. But the documents pretty much are going to speak for themselves because they can be used for and against Karen Reed. I think that they're going to compare some things like Turtleboy has this, Karen doesn't have it on her on her phone anymore, things like that. But people like Alan Jackson, people like David Yannetti, there is no Fifth Amendment or there is no privilege that either one of anybody of these people can claim because they never represented Turtleboy. So any conversations that Turtleboy and those attorneys have ever had, they're not privileged, meaning that they can ask them questions about that. And then if Turtleboy recorded these conversations like an idiot and saved them, any of them, and those are on his devices, which sources are saying that they are you an absolute idiot? Again, so this motion that was filed by the OKeefe family, it's for the purposes of intervention for the limited purpose of obtaining documents in the possession of the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. Turtleboy doesn't want to cooperate. We're going to go through the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. You have all of this because of the criminal case. We want the material. We need the material. Are we entitled to the material? Yes, they are. They just want an order expanding the protective order this court entered on March 31st, 2025 to permit the NDAO to produce discovery materials from the Commonwealth versus Aiden Carney case to the OKeefe family, and 3, an order entering a new protective order governing the OKeefe family's receipt, use, and handling of the materials. And it's very, very descriptive. It's very, very outlined. It's, I think it's in depth. I think it's protective of everybody. It's like this shit isn't getting passed around. Okay, this is for a specific purpose. Now, Aiden Carney served as Karen Reed's agent, mouthpiece, and primary instrumentality in executing a public and coordinated campaign designated to promote a conspiracy, false narrative, and to frustrate justice. That's what they're claiming. And because of that, this discovery is needed because of their claims. It's to support these claims. Once Karen Reed's team went for a motion to dismiss, and they were denied. So in denying the motion to dismiss, Judge O'Shea endorsed the plausibility of the OKeefe family's infliction of emotional distress claims. And they're going to be able to, because that's what this big part is for him anyways, with Turtleboy and Karen Reed portion of it, is that after the wrongful death that they're claiming, they're then claiming that Karen Reed and Turtleboy, because of their concerted efforts here it was set out, and you should have known that this was going to cause what it did was emotional harm. So there's these exhibits that follow behind the motion. But on or about December 20th, 2023, when the Norfolk grand jury indicted Aidan Carney with 9 counts of intimidation of a witness, 5 counts of illegal picketing of a witness, and 3 counts of conspiracy to commit or to intimidate a witness, they're then using on March 31st. That's what ended that protective order. And then they're saying that the data, this order directed all agents of the Commonwealth to maintain the confidentiality of the data and shall not share it, publish it, or do anything. So we have to come to the courts to intervene because we can't get this information without you approving it. And so since the OKeefe family on February 24, 2026, they sought access to the materials related to Aidan Carney by serving the NDAO a supplemental keeper of records, a subpoena. And that's attached here. In this subpoena, the OKeefe family seeks materials that directly document the conduct underlining their civil claims involving such similar conduct to which the Commonwealth has deemed sufficiently egregious to warrant a criminal prosecution. So clearly this is a lot of wrongdoing here that the Commonwealth sought out to file criminal charges on Aidan Carney. Okay. So on March 6th, the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office responded by saying that we can't give you this stuff. It objected to producing any information that would jeopardize pending criminal investigations. So that's what they were alluding to back then. Now, notably, the NDAO has not asserted that the materials lack relevance or discoverability, but rather that the March 31st, 2025 protective order stands as the primary impediment. And that's accurate with one exception, which is this is overly burdensome for us to do this, to give you all this shit, right? Well, then they would have had a conversation, and it says right here, pursuant to Rule 9C, counsel for the OKeefe family met and conferred with the NDAO, and after this conference, it resulted in the OKeefe family and the Commonwealth, they've reached an agreement to which the Commonwealth has agreed to produce all discovery materials the parties have exchanged to date. Well, I would think, no shit, right? If I'm the OKeefe family, I'm saying, this is the least you can do. This is the least you can do, that you fumbled a fucking right, because they believe that Karen Reed did this, right? You didn't get justice for us. The least that you can do, overly burdensome my ass. Like, you're going to give us this material. Okay. Yeah, he started off good for one day, but really not even, because if you know the backstory, if you know, you know. But take a look at this. So the Commonwealth has agreed to provide all of this. They have some great arguments here because everything goes to Diller's doing a really good job laying it out and being really specific. But this has everything to do with the emotional distress claims. Okay. Read, they're using the HBO statements here. Okay. And I don't have any shame. I haven't denied it. I'll tell anybody how often it's in the phone records. I talk to him almost every day. This case has been massive for him. And it's my entire life. So yeah, we talked about Jen McCabe, about Michael Proctor, and what's in the latest discovery. And, you know, what do you guys think you're going to do next? We had all these type of conversations. Excuse me. So as part of the investigation in this matter, the Commonwealth obtained search warrants and ultimately seized multiple electronic devices belonging to Aidan Carney. The OKeefe family has a good faith basis to believe that data contained. So think about this stuff. This is what's hilarious to me. Okay. Normally people don't what's up, Devil's Advocate? Good to see you in here, buddy. Normally people that are represented, their lawyers are saying, listen, we're not doing any interviews. Listen, you're not going to say this. You're not going to say that. We're not talking to any of these people, right? And here it would be literally these interviews that Karen Reed did after the fact, during the fact, that they are using against them, because guess what? You guys just keep giving us the material. You just keep giving us the material to be able to show that, yes, we have a good faith basis that this stuff exists, because they're telling like their own words. We're using their own words to get the material. And that's what Turtleboy's problem is he won't shut the fuck up. Literally every day, you'd want to listen to him for the purpose of he's going to talk about something that is highly devastating to his case, because it's going to reveal more discovery, because he won't shut up. And then you have to ask yourself, well, Karen Reed didn't do herself any favors, right? Because she's out there talking to HBO, she's talking to whoever, and she's saying, like, this wasn't needed to be said. Okay, but they asked her about Turtleboy. And it's funny because they want to say, like, I don't have any shame and I've never denied it. Karen Reed saying, I've never denied that I talked to Turtleboy. No, your lawyers did. Your lawyers who spoke on your behalf did. Okay. And it was all lies. They didn't have to say anything, just no comment. You know what I mean? When people are asking questions, no comment. But they strongly had to deny that. Why? Because of how it actually all went down. And Turtleboy's source of the federal investigation back in April, when he did his fucking articles and he had all that shit, he got it from the goddamn defense team. And how do we know that? Because his stupid, ignorant, narcissistic ass came out a month ago and chose to tell everybody that how genius Alan Jackson was. No, basically what you just admitted to on air was that Alan Jackson committed professional misconduct. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, this guy literally commits crimes on camera, and he has the audacity to say, who got hurt? Who got hurt from what I did? Who got hurt? Nobody got hurt. Nobody's dead. Nobody got hurt. You guys, there are people arrested every single day for white collar crimes. Who got hurt? And they're doing like life. They're doing tons of time in prison. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got hurt. The audacity, just the stupidity of this man to think that he can come out and talk to thousands of people and literally make a claim like that. Who got hurt? He's fucking wild, man. And I don't know what's worse, that he says it and he doesn't believe it, or that he says it and he believes it. Fucking A, man. The conspiracy is that the whole government and more is part of the cover-up, and that TV is or became part of that. Yes. You can't beat corruption with being corrupt. You become them. That's why standards matter. That's why, being ethical matters. Character matters. And they knew exactly who, when I say they, Karen Reed and her team knew exactly who they were going into bed with. And at first I was trying to say, okay, did they not know? How do you not know? When you're someone like Alan Jackson and you've been, he knows the media game. Okay. He has a team to vet people. All it would have taken is to literally watch Turtleboy's couple shows before they ever talked. And oh my God, because that's exactly what I went back and did. Like, hey, if I was to vet this guy and he wanted to, I'm going to let him into our circle. No fucking way. I'm letting that motherfucker. He's not even sniffing Karen Reed's fucking ass, her farts. Okay. Karen cropped us the way. We don't even want him sniffing that shit. We know, like, it's like they had no idea. They thought that they could control this man and they could keep him in check. Okay. And it's just like, this man, he's gotten away with basically being a criminal and doing it all while he's documenting on like recording himself for 10 years. But he was doing it in stuff that was where there was like no credibility with the stories he was covering. And it was just like he's always gone too far, but in this case, he took it to a whole nother level and all eyes were on the case. I just don't know how dumb you can be. So it's like, and that's dumb. That's not like, oh, I'm going after and defending an innocent woman. What? You don't defend innocent women by committing crimes. You just don't. And if you don't like the laws in Massachusetts, then you fucking change the laws. He's just a lawless piece of shit. So but and Turtleboy knew it from rip. If Turtleboy's writing up a story in April of 2023 and he knows who his source is, obviously the defense team, and he writes this up about the federal investigation, right? Then to see that they used him in court as being their source, right there, and that's when he knew. That's when Turtleboy knew that he had Alan Jackson and Yannetti by the fucking balls. And I think that some of that shit's recorded. And it's going to be in these devices. Okay. His laptop, I'm going to show you which one. If they get into this laptop and they look into some shit and they go after Facebook to preserve, because they would have preserved his back when he was arrested. I guarantee you there was a Facebook preservation order put out on his shit. For that Clarence Woods Emerson account and whatever the fuck else accounts that he went ahead and admitted to while he's just sitting there waiting to be booked when he's proudly announcing his aliases and shit like an idiot. They would have put out preservation orders on all that stuff. So there's a reason that Turtleboy never talks about his phone and his devices, and when he wants to say that like he's going to be free and all this shit. No, your devices bury you. You were never framed. You chose the path. Turtleboy chose his path for money. Turtleboy was always supposed to get it on the back end. Okay. And how that was going to happen is in like documentaries, like things like that. And you're just going to make money as it is off your show like you normally would. That's why Turtleboy lost his shit when he wasn't getting his after the not guilty, not guilty. He's like, all right, it's payday. He didn't even like for his lawyers not to sit him down and say, listen, we need to talk about something. There is so much heat right now around all this shit. You need to calm down. You're not going to be blackmailing and bullying Alan Jackson and his team, especially Karen Reed. Okay. All of this stuff is going to happen, but it's going to be even longer now because we need to get through your criminal shit. Okay. If you want a camera crew to follow you while you're doing all of this, if you're just going to document it on your own from your fucking channel, I mean, whatever you think you're going to do. But the moves that Turtleboy made after the acquittal of Karen Reed show you that this man is dumb. When he wants to say that Karen Reed's name was literally, if you can't make money with the name Karen Reed, if you can't make money with the name Turtleboy by yourself and go around and do your horror tours, not on YouTube for free, okay, but go around and sell out those cities the way that you wanted to do that, then you suck. If you didn't start a foundation and take basically Karen Reed's situation and find a way like, hey, there's other cases out there that we can help and do this with, if it was all on the up and up, that's what you would have done. But that's not who he is. He's a ratchet, and he turned the Karen Reed / which really it is, the murder of John O'Keefe, into Ratchetville. He turned it into ratchet madness is what he did with a Boston cops murder case. Period. And either Karen Reed was going to be the ratchet or she's going to work with Aiden Carney. And at any point, Aiden Carney, she knew, and her team knew that this man flips on a drop of a dime, click, switch, because he is a triggering motherfucker. He sees red. There is no breathe. There is no go play around the golf and chill out. No. Go get your dick sucked and chill out. Nope. There is none of that. Suing Karen Reed for wrongful death and using Aiden Carney as the main part of emotional distress is kind of a reach for me right now. Not a reach at all. The reason it's not a reach is because they did it together. They're suing Karen Reed for emotional distress, and she used a third party to do it. And if the evidence is there to show that that's exactly what she was using it for, like David and Eddie saying things like how they're ruining their reputations, it's all going to be in the, what was the purpose of ever working with Aiden? It's one thing to cover a story. It's another thing to do what? Yeah, I would agree. I think we've all suffered emotional distress from Turtleboy. I think Karen Reed has suffered emotional distress from Turtleboy. Karen Reed would have been smart to sue him. Karen Reed would have been smart to do a lot of things, I think. But guess what? There's a reason that she couldn't. There's a reason that she couldn't. Absolutely. He's a loose cannon. And he thinks about 3 or 4 steps ahead before he does something, because he wants to cover up his tracks on what he's about to go and do. I mean, the dude trolls himself. That's 101. He's been trolling the criminal justice system since he's been covering ratchet cases that people are not paying child support, all this crazy shit. He goes after people when they're at their worst, like people that have drug addictions and they're not being the best parent. That's who he goes after. Okay. He's just, when he wants to say that I like to see the best in people, he is so full of shit. Look at his channel. If you want to see the best in people, then you would actually approach them and say, hey, let's make a feel-good story here. I saw that you got arrested with this. How can we help you get back on your feet? Let's have the camera rolling. Okay. Lana, do you think she did it? Did what? This has nothing to do about this. This is a civil case. So, anyways, Aiden over here, because this discovery deadline is fast approaching, they're like, listen, we need to intervene. And we need this stuff now so we can prepare. So what I want to show you guys is Exhibit A was when this is the judge's order, memorandum and order, after they went and tried to dismiss the case. And so I highlighted what was really important, which is that it was denied. Everything was denied except for one thing, which is we're going to toss out the negligent infliction of emotional distress claim asserted by Kaylee and denied as to Kaylee's claims for reckless or intentional infliction of emotional distress. And when you actually review this, so here the plaintiff's direct emotional distress claims go beyond the mere fact that JJ died. This is part of the law. Instead, they point to the alleged wrongs they suffered in their individual capacities. They aver that they suffered such harm in observing JJ just after his death. So that stayed for the OKeefe family minus Kaylee because she did not observe him afterwards. Okay. And so that's why that one stayed. And then you get here to the reckless infliction of emotional distress. Due to Tully's affidavit in support of the search warrant application, this is what basically that search warrant is what kept this alive for the OKeefe family. Okay. Because they cite Tully's affidavit in search of the search or for her phones right here. The affidavit comprises 31 pages and discusses Reed's communications regarding JJ's death, briefly stating that the affidavit largely describes actions by a local blogger, Aiden Carney, who runs a series of social media websites under the name Turtleboy. Describing all of that, then the affidavit states that Carney posted articles on social media accounts that reflected personal attacks on civilian witnesses, members of their families, and their friends. The affidavit also states that throughout various postings and videos, Aiden Carney identified several individuals who socialized with JJ and Reed, stated that they, not Reed, were responsible for JJ's murder, and encouraged his social media followers to contact and harass these individuals. Additionally, the affidavit references certain comments that Aiden Carney directed to the OKeefe family. Here's one of them. How much slack are we supposed to give you? And that's where it says John O'Keefe, the OKeefe family. The time period of the grief, whatever that we are giving you, like we are not going after you because of the grief. That is expired. It's expired because you're trying to send an innocent woman to jail for the rest of her life. I don't feel bad for you anymore. And he uses the key trigger word, which is go after you. Like, what a fucking idiot. I've just never, like, his language, I don't care about the cussing, but how dumb can you be to seriously say on a live platform how you're going to go after somebody? Like, what a moron. Now, remember, the way the courts work with this is it's just the benefit of the doubt for the plaintiff right now is that to keep the case. So you have to, the judge does a really good job of saying, I'm not saying that any of this is true, but based on how we have to handle ourselves as judges is right here, is that the court acknowledges that the substance of the search warrant affidavit is highly disputed. The court's reference to such affidavit are viewed through the lens of Rule 12b-6 motion, which requires the court to view facts and draw inferences in the plaintiff's favor. And so that's why this stuff is continuing to go on, because it's not being dismissed because they have stuff that backs it up. And it has to view it in light of that's favorable to the plaintiff, which means it continues. That does not mean, though, that at trial that it wouldn't, that the facts that don't support it, where you're able to claim, that's what the whole trial is for. But when applying the plausibility standard required by Rule 12b-6, such actions are consistent with the plaintiff's averments that the Reed family or Reed developed a narrative surrounding JJ's death. So she did. She developed this narrative, and she wanted Turtleboy to put it out. Okay. Kearney unquestionably took extensive efforts in publicizing. This is going to be a key word here for this. I learned a lot over the past 24 hours, not even, because it was about, because I thought Karen Reed's defense team or her civil team did a really good job of talking about a case law, and we're going to get into it right here, but that's what this is. And I was like, damn, okay. I was like, interesting, because it all has to do with publicity. So what the judge is seeing here is that Aiden Carney unquestionably took extensive efforts in publicizing the information regarding the charges against Reed, and the affidavit describes Reed acting in concert with some of those efforts. Notably, Aiden Carney stated that the time had expired for going after the OKeefe family, and that the OKeefe family was involved in a cover-up regarding JJ's death. Yep, that they're covering for the people that really killed them, Are you part of it? We've all watched the episodes. If not, I mean, it happened. Okay. And Aiden went so far as to say, like, this isn't my opinion, this is fact. Like, why? You don't have to say that. But again, you guys, he did it for clicks and views. He did it to make money. He did it. He's a pearl clutcher. He enrages people. That's what he does. When people want to say, like, well, how is Turtleboy so good? Because he enrages the viewer, and that's why they donate to him. Go watch my shows. Do I enrage anybody? No. Go watch the people. There's people out there that are really good at enraging you. Okay, and they're enraging you, and they're doing that because they want it's a cause and effect. Okay. I'm asking you to come to my channel if you want information. Okay. I'm not asking you ever to come to my channel and then asking you that by being here, it's going to then have you physically go and do something. Whether it be anything that's like a command, like whether it be by written work, saying something, going out and physically doing something. Okay. His shit, he enrages the viewer. Literally. There's no way that's walking away from watching an episode of Turtleboy and not feeling either empowered or disgusted. There is no like, oh, I got that information. So I think that's a really important part of his whatever you want to call it, his likeness. Okay. Yeah, calling people's jobs. I mean, just yesterday, what the fuck he was, or was it 2 days ago? I was thinking, why the fuck is he going so hard at Jennifer Altman? Just like, why? Well, we're going to get to that. So here, notably, Aiden Carney stated, I read that, sorry. Okay. So taken as a whole, and implying the plausibility standard, the complaint and this warrant affidavit. So again, they have the supporting, so the courts are like, hey, this warrant affidavit, right? Here's the complaint. Put them together. That is going to reach your standard of, hey, these are the sufficient facts needed for this to continue on. And it's right here that the extensive media attention perpetuated after JJ's death. You see, after, that keyword after, really important for Aiden Carney and Karen Reed is this word after, because it's what happened after JJ's death that caused the plaintiffs to suffer the emotional harm. And that's why I think that Diller did a phenomenal job, in my opinion, with when I like to say that someone just threaded the needle with the fucking football and, oh my God, pass between 3 defenders, touchdown. I believe that Diller threaded this needle perfectly to be able to show that this is our emotional distress claims. Okay, this is after JJ's death, based off of what Karen Reed and Turtleboy did. And that's what makes him such a big part of this. Now, primarily, the defendant's motion set forth generalized legal statements for extreme and outrageous conduct. So that was Karen Reed is saying, wait a second, this is not extreme or outrageous conduct. Okay. Well, and then what did they do? Again, Karen Reed's defense or Karen Reed's civil team. I hate to say the word defense team, but whatever. They came with an amazing case. And I was looking it up and I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Until the judge says this. So, the judge agreed that arguably it's similar because it dealt with 1, filing false police reports and harassment prevention petitions against the plaintiff, 2, verbally attacking the plaintiffs and monitoring and recording the plaintiff's home on a continuous basis. Like, these are things that happen in this case that the SJC held that such action did not rise to the level of extreme and outrageous conduct. And it's like, isn't that what they did? Well, the court acknowledges that Plow shares parallels as to a dispute between individuals which escalated into allegedly harassing behaviors. However, given the extensive scope of media scrutiny, because this was so public, media scrutiny, and Reed's relationship with Aiden Carney, as alleged in the complaint and search warrant affidavit, the facts of this case rise above those at issue in that case because of their public and pervasive nature. And I was like, damn. Like, it was like, had you not done this on such a public scale, then we're dealing with this here. And yeah, but this was all handled in such a public way, which rises above it. And I was like, interesting. Now, So therefore, the defendant's motions are denied. Again, that was me reading on why he filed his certain way with, because they needed to use this motion, or not this motion, but this order, this memorandum in order to attach it to why they're seeking out the material from the NDAO's office, okay? So they attach this and it's like, this is why we need to get this material, because the judge is seeing it our way and saying that, yes, this is passing the test. And now we need the information to back up our claims. Okay. And so then we get to Exhibit C. I'm sorry, not Exhibit C, but Schedule A. And Schedule A is, okay, what the fuck, okay, are they seeking? What are they seeking? And I said, holy shit, the fucking world. Oh my God. Okay. So, communication. Okay. They are seeking, well, we'll go like this. Okay. All right. So communication, they're seeking any communication. And so right here, we'll go to anything that was exchanged between the parties. And this is what the definition of exchange: materials, documents, communication, letters, telegrams, all this shit, memorandums, communications, envelopes, emails, text messages, social media, direct messages. That's amazing. They better have preserved that. And the NDA's office said that they did. All other written and digital communications, tapes, all these recordings or other sound recordings and transcriptions thereof, videotapes, films, and any documentation referring to or reflecting such oral communications. In the Commonwealth versus Reed, let's see, they go to, they're seeking, they want, grand jury proceedings, indictments, arraignments, hearings, trials, retrials, sentencing, appeals, and all related filings, exhibits, transcripts. So everything from that case. Then they come to the Kearney case. Again, they're seeking all of this shit. One is the events and circumstances surrounding the alleged witness intimidation and other charges. So they've agreed to this. They've agreed to give them this. And so Aiden, okay, the question is if I'm Aiden, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine, but we get it too. It's like, we agree, because he's going to have a motion that he's going to have a motion that come back on this. I mean, this is his case, okay? And I'd be over here like, yeah, anything that you give them, you give to us. Because maybe, just maybe, you'd find material that potentially they didn't give you. And then maybe there's some Brady issues. I don't know. You know, but if I'm Aiden, I'm playing the whole tape through and I'm like, yeah, give me what you give them. And I would compare it. Capiche? To what I've already received. But guess what? That's going to cost you money unless you're going to go through the stuff yourself. But you're going to sit down with your paralegal and say, okay, this is what they just gave to the OKeefe, you know. Let's go through it and see if they didn't give us something the first time that we had been asking for. Now, this is where Jennifer Altman, this is why I believe Turtleboy has had such a ridiculous hard-on for you. Because he knew this was coming, because he already saw what they were asking of him when they filed whatever on Turtleboy. And when I say they, the OKeefe family, served Turtleboy and said, hey, we're going to be deposing you in July 30th or something like that. In preparation for that, we need material from you, okay? And they would have outlined exactly what you're seeing here on the Schedule A. Okay, ready? Don't be hating. What's up? I love I I love you. You have the right to your opinions, even yes, you said it, opinions. We're gonna talk about that. You have the right to your opinions. Absolutely. Turtle Boy has the right to his opinions. Okay. But Turtle Boy doesn't have the right to other things. Okay, we're gonna talk about that too. But so check this out. So they would have served this to Aiden. And from my sources, Aiden never responded. Okay. So then they had to come and ask basically for leave of court. That's why they're intervening and we need this material. But take a look at this. Turtle Boy would have been given this, which means that this person right here, okay, she is listed as an intermediary between Karen and Turtle Boy. They got the Natalie German, he likes to say. They got the John Silva dude. This Catherine woman, which we're going to talk about her on a later date, so keep her in your back pocket. But right now, we're going to focus on Jennifer Altman. Okay. And what has been told to the public is that Jennifer Altman played the most simplest, really like it was just like, hey, again, this is allegedly, supposedly, Jennifer Altman was defending Karen Reed in some group. Then Natalie reaches out to Jennifer Altman in like the DMs and just was like, oh my God, I always see you doing this. Thank you so much. Like, blah, blah, blah. I know Karen, like that type of thing. And so this is how this allegedly is supposed to happen. And that it was then Jennifer Altman saying, oh, well, if you want someone to cover the case, I can reach out. And this is how then supposedly Jennifer Altman said, hey, about the whole Turtle Boy aspect of him finding the case and writing about it. Okay. This is how this supposedly happened. Well, I've always had a big old question mark around that little story. Why? Well, because Turtle Boy lies. Okay. Why? Because it sounds really good and so innocent, right? But that all of a sudden, why would Turtle Boy within just days that Karen Reed would just trust him, talk to him, and he's pumping out a story literally within days? That's a pretty quick, like, we fucking fast, man. Okay. But then again, that's how Turtle Boy operates. He fucks fast. Yeah. So why Turtle Boy got such a hard on for Jennifer Altman since when was it served upon him? I want to say it was served upon him in February or March of 2026. This schedule. And then what does he do? He begins attacking who? Hard as fuck. Her. Jennifer Altman. It was after he saw this. He didn't tell anybody that, though. He never came out and said, oh, hey, this is what they serve you, but take a look at what all the stuff that they want. Nope. Didn't say anything like that. So moving on is footage. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting because I think if the O'Keefes would listen to a word I have to say, that this would be it. Footage. Who owns the footage of when who owns the footage of everything Turtle Boy being filmed going everywhere? For example, Microdots. Before Microdots was hired by Alan Jackson in November of 2023, okay, you have this period of April of 2023. Let's just say to November 2023. Whose footage is that? Who, just because somebody's filming for you, like here's my phone, film me while I'm live here. I want you to film me. Whose footage is that? It's mine. It's my phone. It's my footage. It's mine, right? So when you want to talk about now, just like they did to like Gretchen Voss, like all those people back for the Karen Reed case, Hank and even Lally, they were putting in motions to get the material of anybody that had ever interviewed Karen Reed, to get like B-roll film, all that type of shit. Remember? So my question is the microdots, all the microdots stuff that was filmed with, regardless of whose camera, if there's an agreement that that's Turtleboy's footage, does that mean that the O'Keefes are going and getting that as well? You see how interesting it is? It's really interesting to think about. So we'll come back to that. The data downloads and or extractions. The term data downloads and or extractions shall refer to and include any forensic extraction. So remember how he just had a forensic? He just put it in Meredith's case. There is a forensic extraction that he went and had done for the Meredith protection order or whatever, abuse protection order, whatever the fuck it was. Are they entitled to that? Download or images of an electronic device. And this term encompasses any and all associated reports or outputs and any and all underlying data retrieved by way of such downloads or extractions. Because the NDAO's office doesn't have that, but Turtleboy does. Because they served this on him first. Again, these are questions that I have just because of, if I want to cover something, I want to learn as much as I can about it. Now, Karen Reed's cell phone. The term Karen Reed's cell phone, as herein shall refer to and include each and every cell phone in Karen Reed's possession, custody, or control at any point during the period from January 1st, 2020 to the present. And I'm like, 2020? And so I started to think about that. Obviously, that's 2 years before this ever happened, right? But ready for this? Did Karen Reed take a phone that she had owned previously to 2022, and at some point between 2022 and present day, decide, hey, I'm going to pull an old phone out of the closet and start to use it and treat it as like a burner phone or something? Because every other time that you're going to read this document, see how it says January 29, 2022? So during the period from January 29, 2022 to present day, okay? But it's this specific topic where they use January 1st of 2020. And I'm like, you know what? I think that they have reason to believe that Karen Reed took an old phone and powered it up, kind of like what Lindsay Gaetani did, and began using that. Because I believe that that's what Lindsay Gaetani did when she started talking to Turtleboy after fucking him in September. She fired up an old cell phone, and that's the phone that they used to like do her download. And when I got that extraction, I said, and I was able to point out stuff that pointed to the fact that I was like, this phone just started getting used, but it had been used previously. And what it seems like, it was a phone that, okay, hey, I got a new phone, so I'm going to not use this one anymore. Anyways, we get then to this period between January 29th and to present day, and it's all communications related to the death of John O'Keefe, the investigation and or prosecution of the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed, the O'Keefe family, and exchanged between Aidan Carney and the following: any member of Karen Reed's legal defense team. And you guys, it's because Turtleboy and any person from the defense team, there is no privilege there. Jennifer Altman. Again, this is why he went after Jennifer Altman. Because he knew in his mind what Jennifer Altman possesses. And if she went to the cops and she started talking, also they have to keep producing discovery materials. So that means his defense team is writing in for his criminal case supplemental requests. And so therefore they would be typing stuff up that said, any and all information that Jennifer Altman has provided to the Commonwealth. Any member of the Reed family, and then anybody that they're saying could be an intermediary. So now, look at, including but not limited to her counsel. They are going to, I'm telling you, they're going to call Karen Reed's counsel to the stand. Don't be hating. You're the one that has hate in your word, in your name. Who's hating anybody? Nobody hate. You can't, for someone to say they hate somebody and they've never known, like knew them, I think that that's really strange. I don't hate Turtleboy because I don't know. I've never met him. I said hi to him once at outside the courthouse. Him and Meredith. They were, and I said hi, like they came over to me and to say hi to see my setup and said hi to me. And I said hi back. Like that's the extent of me knowing Turtleboy. So this is about the truth. What truly happened in this whole saga, beginning even before the 29th of January, 2022. Man, you're not hating, girl. I'm not a hater. I don't know how to hate. I'd be a bad hater. So here we go. Moving on. Let's see. They want Karen Reed cell phones, Then they want all data downloads and extractions of Karen Reed cell phones, okay? Then they want the identity and content of all social media platform accounts used or maintained by Karen Reed that reference the investigation and or prosecution of the death of John. Any and all witnesses appearing on combined witness lists is attached here too, which we're going to get into. Any and all email communication. They have to be specific. Any and all email communication, including but unlimited to anybody they talk to on this combined witness list. All data downloads and or extractions of Natalie's cell phone limited to materials concerning the communications between Natalie and Aiden, Natalie and Karen, any member of Karen Reed's legal team, and any member of the Reed family. I'm surprised that they don't put Altman. Maybe they already have that. That's interesting, right? All investigative materials, documents, communications, reports, electronic communications, and information gathered relating to any investigation to Karen Reed, unrelated to that of the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. You guys know what this would be? This was everything to do with Aiden's, everything to do with them trying to investigate her for witness intimidation. Do you understand that the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office has agreed and they're giving them this? All digital forensic extraction reports for any devices accounts used by Karen Reed that were seized, imaged, or accessed, including but not limited to full Cellbrite or any other tool, extraction reports, device inventories, all this shit. Now, next. All digital forensic extractions reports for any device used by Aiden Carney that were seized, imaged, or accessed, including but not limited to full Cellbrite and or other tools. So like that's like Gray Key, Axiom, all this shit. Basically, and now let me explain to you guys. The manpower that the OKeefe civil litigating team has versus Cosgrove, what they are going to go through and devour and be able to put together is on a completely extensive and comprehensive level that it comes nowhere to what Cosgrove is able to do. And it's all relevant. Because in civil case, when everyone's over here talking about, oh, I can't wait to, Turtleboy's over here talking about, yeah, look at all this discovery I'm gonna get, blah, blah, blah. The only ass that's getting opened up on a platter in front of our faces is Aiden's. Karen Reed has gone through 2 criminal trials. Okay. The House defendants, okay, the Commonwealth witnesses, the only thing that we're going to see new is the potentiality of their, if they still have those devices, anybody, if they have the same vehicles potentially to get their car infotainment center logs or something like that. The potential for Google Gmail shit. But I'm not gonna lie, the way that the common, or not the Commonwealth, but the way the House defendants / plaintiff witnesses responded and then put out their own, civil suit. They're basically insinuating that there is information available that's going to prove that Brian Higgins had left and never went back. Let's say when he goes to the Canton Police Department. Okay. There's information that's going to show that he never really destroyed his phone because he backed it all up or something like that. If this comes out to be true, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm going to lose my shit. And I'll tell you guys, once we get that information, I'll tell you what it's about. The way you can say that I just didn't make this up. I'm going to lose my shit on why Alan Jackson and the defense team went and visited Higgins in that September trip. Okay. Stirring up shit, rodent, whatever. Because that's going to be significant. It's a very significant correlation. So just remember that that's where I'm headed. Now, all investigative materials, documents, communications, reports, information gathered regarding the investigation, arrest, and or prosecution of Aiden Carney. Everything since January 29th of 2022 that's relating to him finally, like, what's all the information gathering that you did to build a case against Aiden? Okay. When did they start looking into Aiden? How soon after his first blog? All videos, audio recordings, live stream archives, blogs and or posts from Aiden Carney's channels, accounts, or blogs that relate to the death of John O'Keefe, prosecution of the Commonwealth of Karen Reed, and or communication regarding the O'Keefe family. Aiden thinks that this is about gathering information on his sources. He is selling you a book of goods. If you read this and that's what you think, you are the dumbest motherfucker out there. Like, dumb. That's not what this is at all. At all. The damages are going to be shown to the jury on how far and wide these damages went. Okay. That's what this is all about. This is all about proving that these damages were extensive. It's all about proving what Karen Reed knew, what Karen Reed, in a sense, you could say the word approved of, or like signed off on or endorsed. But it's about the knowledge and what then a normal person would know that this is going to cause. You have to know that there's going to be emotional distress based off of like X, Y, and Z that a reasonable person would endure if something was to happen. Like that's what this is going to measure. And again, remember, this is not beyond a reasonable doubt. The evidence has to just tip the scale 51%. And so what I think looks really bad, right, is the fact that, let's go talk about the Paul O'Keefe, Aiden Carney text messages, or whatever messages that you want to say. They were through Facebook, I think. I showed them on the channel and I walked it through when I did one of his episodes to show just how ridiculous. Why Aiden, this just showed me that he was never interested in writing a story and covering this case from a perspective of an independent journalist. Aiden came into writing the story always as, I'm an agent of Karen Reed and I'm here for a purpose. I'm not here as an independent investigative journalist. Because anybody that would be an independent investigative journalist, think about it. In the Idaho 4 case, that would be like me saying, I'm not going to talk and interview and listen to Bill Thompson and listen to any of those people that were in law enforcement, whether it be feds, whether it be Idaho State Police, whether it be Moscow Police Department. Okay. Anybody that I reached out to, or they reached out to me, and I was just dismissive because of what they were going to say. Who would ever do that? These are sources that anybody that are directly involved in the situation would kill to have as part of their story. Right? Like, that's what you live and dream for if you're an independent investigative journalist, is to be able to score those type of interviews, to make them part of what you would say is like your record. Here's my record of the case and who I went and spoke with, and this is what they told me, and these are the questions that I asked, and this is what I was able to get out of them because I asked such really good questions. I ask stuff of people that people don't think to ask. That's what an independent investigative journalist would do. Okay. What Turtleboy did is he went over here to his book. And he just took a chapter out that he always does. And he goes to page 2, I think it's like 236, 226. And this is who he is. Right here. If you have a story that you think needs to be told, and you either don't want the attention that comes with it, or don't have the reach that we have, then you can come to Turtleboy and we will tell your story for you. And that's exactly what happened in this case. Just like it happens every time. That's what he does. He tells only one side. And everything that he's ever covered, I went back, I did the homework, I did the work. He's never covered both sides of a story, ever. Now, going back here, all voicemail recordings, corresponding call logs, and communication messages, including dates, times, numbers dialed, durations, all this shit, between Aiden and any member of the OKeefe family. I was like, that's interesting. That's really interesting. And any witness on combined witness list here to attach as Exhibit A. And I said, holy shit. Okay. I believe, upon information and belief of myself, that there is information out there that Turtleboy has done stuff that he's never even put on his channel, but that this family knows exists, and that's why they're this right here. And that it's there. They have reason to believe this information exists, and that he's never talked about it on his channel. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm here for this one. Think about it. This man he used to only go live 2 days a week, Tuesday nights and Saturday nights. Okay. And before he got arrested, he was never doing the bus stop live. Okay. So it's like, what was this man doing all those hours of the day when he wasn't live for 3 hours, let's say 9 to midnight on Tuesdays and Saturdays? That's a lot of fucking hours, don't you think? Well, he was writing blogs, Lana. Okay. He was. Sometimes he would write like 3 in a day. Okay. Sometimes he wouldn't write for, but look at his blog right now. When is he ever writing anymore? When's the last time? Like, how many blogs is he doing per day? Or I mean, per week? Why does it even matter? I'm going to tell you why it matters. Because there's a lot of things that he did that never made his shows, never made it to a, but it would show you plotting and planning on how things, on why you were doing something. For example, if you're over here contacting people or messaging people or emailing them or whatever, and any of that shit was ever threatening in nature, I'm saying that this was really, really interesting to me to see this because they asked about themselves, any members of the OKeefe family, any witnesses on the combined witness list. Here too, it's attached. Now, moving on to number 17, I said, oh my God. And I'm going to tell you why. All witness statements, incident reports, and victim/witness assistance records documenting alleged harassment, intimidation, doxing, or picketing a witness or their family related to the Aidan Kearney's publications or activities, including photographs, videos, and location logs. This is going to be all like the tip line, basically, of anybody that was calling in and providing information that, hey, this is what you know how lengthy this could potentially be? For example, they need all the records of showing what the OKeefe's probably calling and saying, like, I mean, I don't know. As it relates to the investigation and or prosecution of Commonwealth versus Karen Reed, the death of John O'Keefe, the O'Keefe family, and any and all witnesses appearing on the combined witness list here too is a all data, downloads, extractions, photographs, and video footage obtained from Aidan Kearney's Apple. Remember, I told you we're going to get into this. Aidan Kearney's Apple MacBook with a serial number of this. This is the big one right here. B. This one. This one, I have reason to believe, has a shit ton of recordings. Like when he would record people and have a conversation with them. Okay. This puppy right here, this one. There is a shit ton of recordings, illegal recordings. And if he was a dumbass and he stored his recordings with Karen Reed's defense team on this fucking laptop right here, it couldn't have been used in the Karen Reed case. Okay. Or could it have? But you bet your fucking ass it can be used in their civil case. So if he recorded that defense team on those phone conversations they were having without their knowledge, And those are in, I mean, how is that going to play out? So Aiden Carney commits a crime, and then the OKeefe family gets to use. I would think that they couldn't possibly be able to use something like that's why it's like, when is Karen's team and potentially Karen, if this man was just recording every time that they would talk and he was stashing all of these, right? And those exist somewhere and they're on these devices, that would require Karen Reed and her defense team to say, wait a second, hold on here. We never gave Turtleboy permission to record us. We never knew he was recording. And if there's any recordings of my, like Karen Reed or the defense team, right? Those would be illegal recordings and they would have to go file a complaint against Turtleboy, right? But when would they find out that they even existed? They're going to find out they exist when what they're trying to be used in a courtroom. I mean, this right here just seems like, again, what I have to question here now is the stupidity. Ready? If David Yannetti gave Turtleboy a heads up that you're going to get arrested, they're going to arrest you because he had people talking whatever, and you're going to sit here and tell me that Turtleboy thought it was a beautiful idea not to get rid of any of this material? That's the first thing I would have done. All of these devices would have been backed up and buried somewhere. And these devices would have been all, you're never finding them. The moment that somebody would have told me that I'm probably going to get arrested. This way, me burying all of this, right, and destroying it, you're not getting to my sources. Okay. Right? Because he's claiming if you truly are a journalist and you want to protect your sources and you believe that the Commonwealth's corrupt, these would have never been able to be got. But here they took an Apple Mac, this ASUS laptop, a silver USB drive. They took a Sony video camera, and they took another camera and a SD card. And this is what, now think about how many things did they end up taking? You notice how there's no phone on here? I would love to know if Cosgrove has even gone through this. Juror 13 says, how slow is this turtle? Dumb as fuck. Dumb as hell. And so I just was scratching my head and I'm like, dude, Yannetti's giving you a heads up and you don't destroy this shit after you would have backed it up with like a hard drive, your entire hard drive, back it up to an external, and then you go and you bury that. You go and put it, I don't know, maybe in a safety deposit box. I mean, where's your brains? Maybe not even a safety deposit box. I don't know. I don't know. Why don't you seek out counsel, legal advice, like in you should have sought out legal counsel back in what is it? In April. But you would immediately sought out and said, hey, I want to be able, like, I don't know what's going on, but he tells me that I'm getting arrested or they're planning, like, this is, I have all these devices. I don't want them to have them, but I need them because I'm obviously making a documentary. What should I do? Any and all information, extractions, documents, call logs, and or material obtained by NDAO showing use of the Signal app as it relates to any communications made on it by Aiden Carney and Karen Reed. Signal. All metadata. Thank you. And I was like, please tell me you're going to be asking for metadata, because nothing should be allowed in this courtroom without metadata. And there it is. Now, they attached the combined witness list. And so basically, anybody that Aiden Carney and anybody on this witness list, right? If there's any type of, if he reached out or they reached out to him, any type of communication, they're seeking that. So when I went through this, okay, I know that there's Ashley Bell, check, but think about this. If he's writing stories and he's trying to get people to come on his show and, hey, come out and talk to me about this and whatever. At any point in time, if he ever talked to, you just, here's this lovely list, right? The Asian family. Well, we get to Lucky. You know, there's information there. We know that there's stuff about Tristan because he had a camera rolling when he was like somewhere. All the Chris Albert stuff, right? There's tons of that. Here you go. Aaron. He talked a lot of shit about these people. Might be something there. Might be something there. Might be something there. Jennifer McCabe. Jessica Hyde. Julie. And then I said to myself, well, we know how he operates. And what about any burner accounts that they can associate to him having any type of contact with any of these people? And why this matters is because if there is any true witness intimidation going on outside of what's already been presented that we've kind of seen, right? It's like, what else is there? You know, he's not just doing X, Y, and Z. You know, he's showing up to ball games and whatnot. He's going to people's houses. What else is he doing? These are all the people that were on the witness list. And I was like, Maggie Gaffney. Michael Easter. Circle that now. I'm curious if he's had any conversations with the Barros guy. I'm curious what conversations he had with Karen Reed's PI. Richard Green. You know, he's living and dying on Richard Green's report. This is Richard Green, who basically he's saying Richard Green is an expert and there's a 227 Google search. Okay. Because remember, he's never come out and said that, hey, that 227 Google search did not happen. Okay. I believe that the Google search at 227 did not happen and that it was a sub-right glitch. Okay. But regardless, you guys remember I said, even if there was a 227 Google search, Jennifer McCabe did not make that Google search because she goes up a flight of stairs and that phone never went up a flight of stairs. And so who made that Google search at 227? If it in fact happened, it wasn't her. And now it makes all the sense in the world, guys, right? Why Turtleboy lost his nutsack over what I had found and put out. Because it blew him up civilly. That's why he was like, oh my God, shut her up. Don't listen to what she's saying, blah, blah, blah. It had everything to do with I am upending their huge narrative here that Jennifer McCabe Google searched at 227, house long to die in the cold. That is what he has clung to, right? To say, hi, this is not, I'm not, sue me, sue me, sue me. Now, do I think it's reasonable that that if an expert puts that out there, that you can use this, hey, here's this expert report, blah, 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 blah. And you could say that this is what this expert report is, yada, yada, yada. Sure. But guess what happened in trial 2? Karen Reed's defense team did you no favors, Turtleboy. None. When they didn't have their own digital expert on, they didn't try to refute in any capacity what was presented with the 227 Google search, that everything that Ian Whiffen and all of them testified to. They put no rebuttal up against that. Why? Well, because all they were focused on is that the car wasn't the murder weapon. And if the car isn't the murder weapon, then Karen Reed couldn't have done it. Okay? The other thing I put out there is that I never believed that Karen Reed, I always believed that John O'Keefe got into Karen Reed's vehicle that night when they left Waterfall. What I questioned from day one, before I even knew who Turtle Tits was, I said, wow, the evidence here is really interesting, because I'm starting to question if she ever really truly dropped him off at 34 Fairview, meaning that physical address, 34 Fairview. Or did Karen Reed drop him off at a different location that she thought was 34 Fairview, because she had never been there before? She's just listening to her boyfriend tell her to turn right, turn left, turn right. Okay. And the reason being, the biggest reason being, is that, just think about this for a second. It was like a fucking zoo over there, supposedly, at 12:30. You got Colin Albert's leaving, so Allie McCabe's driving over there to pick him up. You got Julie Nagel's brothers coming over there in a truck. You got Higgins driving back there. You got who you would think Caitlin had her own car. Even if she didn't, then someone, I mean, it is, people saw her car there. No, people saw a vehicle. People saw an SUV. Nobody ever testified to seeing Karen Reed. Go listen to the shit. They testified, and even, you know who else testified to that? Is that Jennifer McCabe. Okay. At the end of the day, that would be also part of the setup, because if you truly think about it, it's not just that the guy didn't come in the house. We need to say that they came there as well, because how the fuck is he right where he's located? So you have to play the whole thing forward. They say that they saw a woman, correct? And guess who else was going there at the same time? Allie, to pick up what's his tits, Colin. It just, at the end of the day, go listen to it. Nobody testified that I saw Karen Reed. Now, why all of this matters is because this has all been a narrative from the jump. This has all been like, this is Karen Reed's version of the story, right? Versus the other side's version of the story, right? And I'm over here thinking, it's kind of like what the police did in the Brian Kober case. You didn't play the tape forward. Your client clearly doesn't remember anything. Okay? Because I'm going to be completely honest with you. This makes absolutely no sense, and it never has made any sense, that Karen Reed would say, where there's all these cars are there, lights are on, hey, go make sure that we're invited, or go check out, make sure this even is the right house. We got lost. When I first heard that, I was like, yeah, exactly. They were lost. They didn't even know if they were at the right house. Okay. But now think about it. If we would have known right off the rip that there was tension between Brian Higgins and Karen Reed and the whole texting and kiss stuff from jump, which was completely suppressed by Aiden. I do believe that he knew about that, and that was part of it, that maybe they were worried that was about to come out, and we have to have our narrative ready. It doesn't fucking matter. The thing is that Karen Reed doesn't seem to know or remember anything, and I wouldn't rely on my client. I would look at the evidence. Okay? I would look at the evidence. And if you play the whole tape forward, you can look at the evidence and consider that you didn't drop off John at 34 Fairview. And you actually dropped, and which would make way more sense to me, that when she's talking about that, it looked like nobody was home. There was nobody around. I'm waiting. Well, then why aren't you calling him or texting him while you're sitting there waiting and waiting? Why would you wait till you pulled away to start screaming at him? If you got out of the car at whatever time and he's not coming back and you're waiting, aren't you calling him to say, like, hey, what's going on? Hey, is everything good? If that was the plan, where's that text? We saw how Karen had no problem texting all day, firing off text messages all day, calling him all day. Everything was fine. People want to say, well, at the end, it didn't seem like it was fine at the waterfall bar. Well, there's only one reason for that, and that would be Brian Higgins, and that would be Karen thinking that, okay, Brian Higgins is going to tell John. Okay. But it's so simple. Ask yourself how you're sitting outside of a house for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you don't do anything while you're there. And in fact, Karen Reed isn't talking about that there was a car that pulled up right behind me, then they pull off, then somebody else is coming, then somebody else comes out of the house and they go to that behind, because I thought it was John at first when Julie Nagel's coming out of the house, but I realized it wasn't, it was a girl. All of these things, if you weren't wasted and if you knew what happened and if you were truly at the right house, you would know all of these things that supposedly happened, right? But instead, it's like the house that she was at looked like there was nobody home. There was no cars around. And that's just not what was happening over there at that house. It was a goddamn parking lot. So And these are all the things I considered when I first was reading about this case, reading all this. And I was like, the thing that just never made sense to me is why either you dropped him off and he was just going to go to the party and you weren't going to go because you didn't feel good, which means that you would have left right away. If there is no waiting. Okay. Or like, what's the version? What's the version of events? And that's why I said, go listen to Turtleboy. Go listen to Turtleboy in the beginning and listen to what he was saying. And he's coming out saying how they got lost. They didn't know where they were going. And I'm like, okay, that's checking off one of my things in my column. Yep, they got lost. They were at a house that they didn't. Okay. Karen Reed never said that John punched in anything into ways to get them wherever until when? After trial 1. And she said that in an interview. And then they were able to use that to be able to put her car and the ways together because they couldn't use that in trial 1 because she had never verbalized that. Now she verbalizes it after trial 1. And because they use her words in an interview, and over here you got Alan Jackson saying everything that we did was strategic and we wouldn't take anything back of any of these interviews. Okay. Well, look at where the steps start and the flights of stairs start. And it's over there on Oakdale where Lank lives. Lank lives on Oakdale. Other people that are Canton cops live over there. There was a blizzard party. And it wasn't the Alberts having the blizzard party. Okay, play the whole tape through. So all I simply said was, and this is when I knew that but it was J.O.'s ways, not hers, but they were able to put J.O. in her car because she said in her interview that, yeah, I was sitting there and John pumps in the address and puts it all in. Okay. And I don't believe that she remembers any of that at all. Again, let's go back to the beginning, which would be this. If there was an independent journalist trying to get to the bottom of the truth, you're not blocking out common sense and you're not asking questions that are just so ridiculously obvious. You're not having sources from the other side. Okay? You're covering if you're covering a story or a case because you truly want justice for John O'Keefe as you're marching around saying, none of your actions support that. And that's the biggest farce of this whole thing. Is that Aiden's over here and was on a soapbox trying to make it seem like he truly wanted justice for John O'Keefe. He hasn't done anything for John O'Keefe since the not guilty, not guilty. Not a fucking thing for John O'Keefe. Aiden was hired basically in April, and not only was fired come October, but was arrested in October. Within 6 months, a man is basically hired and fired and arrested, who was basically running Karen Reed's campaign against a corrupt system. And then Turtleboy's over here saying, I was arrested and I was framed, just like Karen Reed. No, actually, you did all these actions, okay? Karen Reed's over here claiming that she did nothing but wake up without her boyfriend that morning, go looking for him, find him, and then the powers be, all of this shit. You know, planning of the evidence. People are conspiring, getting their stories straight. Right. The clothing, the chain of custody, officers not doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is recording interviews, which is having people down at the station, which is getting people's phones, going in the house, all of these things. Okay. Karen Reed has those complaints, not Aiden. But back it up. And now it makes sense, though, to me as to why my simple questions, which was, wow, it seems like John O'Keefe's steps started over here on Oakdale, his flights of stairs over here. The SUV, okay, is over here. And they completely came a different way. Okay. Why did people want to stop and just say that the story is they all had to get their story straight, that the guy never came inside, but they're missing a very important part of the story that would also have to be true. We also have to say that Karen Reed came here because of where John O'Keefe's body is. Right? Because Karen, if you're over here and where this ways starts up, okay, is after he gets out of a vehicle and starts taking steps. Where was he? Where did he get these flights of stairs and over here on Oakdale? Out of your car and not with you. And then you're waiting around at a place that looks like it's completely dead. That's not going to be over there at 34 Fairview. And then you don't send the most important text, which is, hey, what'd they say? Are we invited? Or, hey, I'm about to leave. Like, where are you? Okay. Nope. Instead, there is none of that. And then a driving off followed by every minute on the minute calling and saying things like, I fucking hate you, John. Fuck you, you fucking pervert. And that to me goes with seeing something in front of your face that you're saying those things, because you're not asking a very, very important question, which is, hey, are we invited? Hey, is this the right place? Hey. And all of the calls, when you go off of the timeline of when she starts to make these calls, are way after being just sitting there waiting, right? It's after she's pulled away driving home. Like, you didn't even, you know how people will leave a comment, or not a comment, but a text or a phone call and say, I'm leaving. Where are you? Like, I'm about to leave. That is like signature. A signature like, hey, why would you call after you left? Why did you never call Higgins? That's a person that you knew that he was out. Why wouldn't Higgins be the first person that to say, hey, I get it. John didn't come home last night. I get that you guys were all hanging out, but where is he? Why is Karen Reed talking about how she's such a big fan of U2 and that U2 was playing, only to find out that it was Coldplay? It's because you're mixing up the evidence after you're seeing the evidence. That's what it looks like to me, because you would never mix up U2 and Coldplay, especially if they're your favorite band. I would never say NSYNC and Backstreet Boys interchangeably. That's like the biggest fucking joke. NSYNC blows Backstreet Boys out of the water. But you would never like. So, and all I was going off of was the data. Okay. So if we find out that Karen Reed was brought this story by somebody saying to look at the people that were inside the house, and the defense never called this person to the stand in either trial, for the purposes of to say that this was not some concocted narrative that they came up on their own, but rather that this person came to us. Why did you come to us? Right there, bingo. You're asking rational questions, but you know she was drunk. Drunk is not rational or clear. Hang tight. That's my whole point. That's my whole point. Is that you cannot rely on Karen Reed if you're the defense to ask Karen Reed what happened. Karen Reed does not know. Okay? What you need to do is figure out when you get the evidence, because it's like, dude, I did not hit him. What do you mean I hit him? Okay? I didn't fucking back into him. I didn't, because nobody ever was saying that she backed into him at 24 miles an hour, right? It was originally a 3-point turn. It was this, it was that, right? You have two groups of people trying to figure out, in my opinion, with potentially one person that could have known and not told anybody things, right? But here nor there, I finally realized that why we couldn't remotely talk about the facts and the evidence rationally with someone like Turtleboy and his followers is because it blows his entire life up. Not just the story, but his entire life, because he has gone and created these shirts. He has gone and after these people. And I'm over here saying, wow, like that woman, Jen McCabe, never did that, because the evidence shows that she went upstairs with her watch on and the phone stayed downstairs. So the 227 Google search couldn't have been done by that woman, because the steps, all of it, when you look on it, like I've showed multiple times. Sorry. And then we find out that, oh, wow, okay, there was a glitch. Oh, wow, so Lana was right. Well, I knew I was right because of the data. I knew that if that was even if it did happen, I knew that she didn't do it. Okay. That she didn't do it. Come to find out, though, there was a Cellbrite glitch. That is accurate. And that there's going to be a lot of cases out there in the world right now that glitch needs to be looked into to see who else potentially out there was found guilty of crimes because of that glitch. And that should be on Cellbrite to do. Anybody that used Cellbrite for the purposes of Google searches, those cases should be automatically flagged and appealed, like an automatic granted appeal. Okay. You can believe whatever you want. I believe she was involved in the cover up regardless, and that's a crime. You can believe that, but you need evidence to believe that. Okay. Because what it's going to come down to is we can't have when Proctor, I love the spin that Alan Jackson put on because he had to do whatever for his client. But the people that you had to go after here was the investigation. You always attack the investigation. And that's just unfortunately not what they did. They chose to go about it a different way. Why wouldn't you attack the investigation? The Karen Reed case is very similar to actually I'm talking about the investigation, is very similar to the Brian Colbert investigation and how the cops mishandled stuff because they were afraid of what they would find. So they didn't go to certain areas because they didn't want to fuck with their case. That's not how you solve crimes. That's the problem in the John O'Keefe case. And that's why I personally believe that the police And all the anybody that was the investigators in this case owe everything to the O'Keefe family because they failed the O'Keefe family by how they went about investing. Nobody should ever be arrested for this case, prosecuted for this case. Not a single person, because the investigation cannot withstand the scrutiny of cross-examination, and it cannot withstand that high bar of beyond a reasonable doubt. No prosecutor should prosecute, whether it's Brian Higgins, whether it's Karen Reed, anybody, nobody, unless new evidence was to come to light. And we're talking about somebody saying, hey, I want to confess that I helped so-and-so in this. And I actually, not just my words, but here I can, show you this, that, and the other. But nobody should be prosecuted for this case because nobody can be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt because of the investigation, period. Also, I personally think that this civil case is going to show that these were two machines. Okay. You got the Commonwealth that fucked up left and right. Their investigators fucked up left and right. Okay. So they're doing things all fucked up, right? And they're the only people that can actually do things in this case. Like, I'm sorry, but the Jen McCabe's and the Matt McCabe's and the witnesses, they don't have the power to do anything. They don't have the power to subpoena. They don't have the power to interview. The investigators do. Nothing was preserved. So think about it like this. If I'm someone like a Higgins or a Jen, I am royally pissed that Proctor and the rest of those guys, why didn't you go get a geofence warrant? Why didn't you go get a Google, like, what are you doing? Why didn't you go and get the Google warrants? Like, you're doing me no favors here because I'm unable to show that my IEM number isn't in there after this point in time because I left. Same thing for Colin, for all of this stuff, okay? So I think anybody that was involved in this case has an equal gripe with law enforcement. And that's why I disagree with what Cyril says when he says that it's a broken system, not that there's these bad apples in law enforcement. I completely disagree. Okay. You can have a system put in place. At the end of the day, if you don't follow that system right, and who's supposed to follow it, the policies, is a human. And who's making the conscious decisions not to do things and to do something this way and knows that chain of custody and you have to get clothing in this and turn in and blah, all this shit, right? A human did. No policy is going to change pieces of shit. People. Sorry. That's just a fact. Judges aren't holding people accountable. And so you have this big protective system. And so if that's what you're trying to change, but it's at the end of the day, it's still people. Unless you want a bunch of fucking robots, go watch Mercy Court or whatever the fuck it was, some Netflix show or Amazon Prime shit. AI. So, but I think it's really, really troublesome to see that John O'Keefe's phone stops where it stopped. Okay. But more importantly, the pocket state. This was the first case I've ever seen pocket state shit. And I'm like, holy shit. Okay. That's really interesting because even a Faraday bag is going to affect pocket state. If you have to move that to put it in a Faraday bag and all this stuff, that is going to affect the pocket state digital data. And it just didn't. And so we can go into all of that a different day, but these were two propaganda machines, in my opinion. Okay. The Commonwealth wanting to protect their police thinking, I want to not have this big deal, and I'm already jumping to conclusions of what this could possibly be. And as an officer, you're not supposed to do that, but thinking that I already have to protect somebody. I mean, regardless, you had two propaganda machines. Karen Reed went and got herself one, okay? And the Commonwealth had one. That's what you had here. And you had people that were pushing onto the public outrage. Outrage. And you had more outrage being pushed actually from the Karen Reed's PR. And the PR that Karen Reed used, Alan Jackson was no stranger to. He's done it with Hollywood people before. And what sucks, okay, is when you find out that the hands were not clean in Karen Reed's PR machine because the defense attorneys gave Turtleboy this federal investigation that was going on, which has netted nothing, yielded nothing. Nothing. The defense gives that to Turtleboy. Turtleboy writes an article. Then the defense cites Turtleboy's article as their source. That is professional misconduct. You're lying to the tribunal. Hand to the tribunal. You cannot do that. Okay? And so then you start to question everything. You question everything on the prosecution side, as you should. Okay? And now you have to question everything on the fucking defense side, as you should. And then you look at what was known by the parties who used the mouthpiece of Turtleboy and what he was doing and what he was saying. You guys, Jen McCabe deleted stuff out of her phone. And Jen McCabe's over here like, no, I didn't. Okay, ready for this? Maybe she didn't. Why don't we ask her what different calls people were making from her phone? Maybe somebody else deleted the shit. Okay, because she's making all these calls. So she's not trying to hide anything and do something with her regular phone. But Karen Reed did the same thing. When she needed to turn over her stuff, what'd she do? She wiped her phone completely clean. What would make Karen Reed a hell of a lot more innocent is going and proving that Karen Reed dropped John O'Keefe off at a different address. And I've been saying that since 2023. So how did John get to the house then? Where was Higgins's Jeep? Higgins's Jeep wasn't there, was it? That's right. Nobody ever wanted to ask themselves where Higgins's Jeep was and where Albert's SUV was. That's not in the driveway, and that's not in the garage. What was the phone call for? Giving directions where? Nobody ever asked these people that were inside the house what time people came back from being out at the bars. People weren't watching the clock. People weren't whatever. Where were they potentially going first? Whose vehicle did John jump in that wouldn't know where Albert lived? They just didn't play the whole tape through. And the moment that I just was talking about the fact that Jen McCabe did not make the Google search because she's upstairs and the phone never traveled upstairs, it was like, fuck that Atlanta girl. And I'm like, fuck you. What are you looking at? What information are you looking at? Because the data speaks very clearly here. You can't have it both ways. Jennifer has a watch on and it goes straight up the fucking stairs. That phone registers no flight of stairs until 5:38 in the morning. Explain that to me. Oh. And then I've said, well, I can explain it that Jennifer McCabe didn't make the Google search. That somebody downstairs, if it even is an actual Google search. But regardless, Jennifer McCabe didn't make it. But why did Turtleboy have to go ham about this? Because he fucking completely went after this woman about these Google searches. And about this fucking house law, all this shit. Okay. Remember the House defendants here, the Commonwealth witnesses, right? Go listen to their testimony. They kept saying, no, I didn't say that. When, Proctor just got it wrong, or this report's just wrong. Yeah, it is. Proctor's just writing whatever he wanted. Yep, exactly. I'm not interviewed. It's not recorded. I didn't say that. Why was that so hard to believe? Why would it be so hard to believe that one potential person at that house or at a different house where they potentially were is actually responsible? Not everybody in some conspiracy. Why is it so hard to believe that the Canton Police Department should have been looked at way closer in what their knowledge was? And that should have been like, what was Brian Higgins up to? Hey, Jen. Girl, I just figured out why your boy Turtleboy has been fucking going ham on you. Because he got this damn thing about probably a couple months ago, where your name was all over it. And that's why he was attacking you so bad. I'm really sorry about all that. I don't believe in that shit. She was on Oakdale. Yeah, everybody was over there on Oakdale. That's where all the steps are being recorded. That's where the stairs are being recorded. Oakdale, over there, Oakdale and Cedar right there. And it's just like, why aren't we looking at that? Why aren't we considering what the hell is over there? And it's like, oh my God, it's Lank lives right there. Oh my God, another officer who has the canine. He runs the canine. He has a canine there. You guys are like, oh, what about the dog? Well, maybe it wasn't Chloe. Maybe it was, the canine. What if it wasn't a dog, period? Karen didn't hurt him, bottom line. Well, this is what actually should be the bottom line is nobody can prove who did anything. That's what the bottom line has to be. The bottom line is that law enforcement and their corrupt asses, and because they're not used to actually doing something fundamentally correct and following policies and protocols, that this case was never going to be solved. And maybe that's actually why they did it. How about everything of that? So I think that you can actually get two sides to say that. I think it looks like a plow could have grazed his arm. I also know that I've been to that house numerous times and there's that big what is it called? That curb. Okay. And the scratches on his arm looks like, even like gravel got in, because I'm going to tell you this right now, but go find me a dog that bites and doesn't bite down with the bottom part of the teeth. Don't even get me started on that shit. Okay. Because where you can find common ground here is that nobody can be found guilty of this crime beyond a reasonable doubt. And why? Very simply put, the investigation. Period. Oh, and my email is themindchallenge@gmail.com. Okay. I think all of the witnesses are unreliable. They all were drinking heavily. Okay. So as a juror, if Jennifer McCabe's in that chair, Matt McCabe, Higgins, Brian, I don't give a shit. As a juror, if I was in that, not guilty to whoever's sitting in that chair, because they would be given the same beyond a reasonable doubt standard, and they have the same evidence that Karen Reed had to go up against, and it's shit. It's not going to convict anybody. So whatever. Lana, you are tripping. No, I'm not. Not at all. It's absolutely wild what has happened in the Karen Reed case. It's ratchet as fuck. Why? Because Turtleboy made it that way. He turned everybody into a ratchet. Not that they are, but he literally is a ratchet. He's King Ratchet. He's absolutely disgusting. And when I'm talking about disgusting is like his, I don't know whose mouth is worse, him or the glare. But like when you have to actually physically look at their mouths, it's just awful. And he's literally that they just made it into a Boston cops murder case made into fucking white Trashville. It's amazing. It's just fucking crazy. And to think that like Helen Jackson and all these prestigious like people that are like, we're so prim and proper and we charge $1,000 or $1,500 an hour. Why? For what I saw in this case, a bunch of fucking hillbilly shit, turning shit into a complete fucking mass joke. But hey, Karen Reed's free. And she should be. But not all of that wasn't necessary because the case was absolutely laughable. Again, whoever was going to sit in that chair, absolutely laughable. So, facts, their mouths are foul. And so I'm here for the civil case because you got, hands down, give it to the House defendants, give it to the Commonwealth witnesses. They've kept their mouths completely shut, and there is nothing that can be used against them in that capacity. which Turtleboy has never gone up against. Never gone up against. You have all these statements made by seriously everybody. Karen, her lawyers, Turtleboy, and you got nothing out of the Commonwealth witnesses, except for whatever was questioned about them on the stand. And I laughed the one day. Somebody was like, Turtleboy, are you countersuing? I agree with that. It's disgusting. Totally true. And that's why Alessi has nothing to do with this. He's probably over here like, oh my God. It's too bad that AJ and Yannetti didn't have enough faith in their own lawyering skills, so they didn't need to involve Turtleboy. Yeah, and that's why actually they did that refiling again. They already tried to go after the phones back before they did that April 2023 filing. But yeah, everybody is entitled to their own opinions, and I think that absolutely. Okay. Do I think that Canton is involved way more so? Yeah, because if y'all think that Higgins did it, right? The Higgins is basically a Canton cop. That's where his office was. That's who he has all these very, very personal relationships with, like Gallagher, and he had the relationships with the other Albert. But to go after like the Sarah Livingstons of the world and the Julie Nagel, I mean, dude, how desperate. Okay. How ridiculous. Just it's so hey, don't talk about Julie because I think she testified at the grand jury, but go ahead and go ham on Sarah and put out her nursing license. Fucking insane. Absolutely. If you don't think that shit's wild, then hey, that's your opinion and your opinion sucks. Like that's just fine. Like, but somebody asked, yeah, Turtleboy, are you countersuing? And it's like, and at least I think he grasped it. He's like, countersuing for what? And I'm like, oh, thank God. I think he understands it. There's nothing to countersue these people for. Yeah, that's gross as fuck to do that. Yeah. And guess what? But that's their MO. Look at what they're doing. That's all they do is go after. He just said it the other day. He's like, I'm going to go after Jennifer Altman and destroy her life and go after her job. I'm going to call her work. I already called it. Like, if Jennifer Altman has not called the police and gave them all that and has not gone to the courts, I mean, you need to go immediately. No waiting. Just to put it on record. But oh, Higgins was at Kansas City that night. Yep, sure was. But guess what? I didn't see no blood on him. I didn't see any bloody hands. I didn't see any fucked up face. Again, why didn't the defense call any of these people to the stand in the second trial? Countersuing for what exactly? I just was laughing. I'm like, God, who watches this channel because they know nothing about fucking anything to do with the court system? Are you going to countersue them? Yeah. He's like, nobody's putting him in jail. He's like, he didn't hurt anybody. Nobody was harmed in what he did. So like people that think I'm going to prison, like you're an idiot. And I'm like, yeah. I think you need to read that statute a little better. This was a cop's murder, which enhances things. And it was a first degree murder charge, which enhances your punishment. The punishment's going to be decided by this judge. Nothing is getting dismissed in Turtleboy's case. He thinks that this mega motion that he's like, yep, we think that this is going to be dismissed May 27th. Huh. Wow. I don't know who's telling you that. I have no idea who's telling him that, but that is fucking diabolical. Okay. His motion to dismiss, which is not even a motion because listen to the way the judge talks about it. The judge has already said so much that that's not going to happen. But I think he just must be like, I don't know, having selective hearing. Maybe he's just in denial. But that Google search never happened. Jennifer McCabe never Google searched anything at 227. The proof is in the pudding. She's upstairs. That phone is downstairs. Let's see. Again, Turtleboy is still doing his bus stop lives. And what's up, motherfucker? What's up, boy?
Hello, hello, hello. Whew, bus stop live check-in.
I just love it. This is comedy hour for me.
All right. Hello, everybody. Let people stroll on in here. Starting a little earlier than.
Every time he says that, you guys, I'm gonna let people stroll on in here. I'm fine with people disagreeing, and I'm actually open to discussions about things. I also know that my opinions are based in the amount of copious amount of research that I've done, and but I'm happy to discuss with people or debate anybody, but we have to use actual material. But listen to this: when he would when he would do these about a couple years ago prior to Karen Reed, he's like, let me just wait for people to stroll on in here. Then he would say, all right, 4 people are here, we can start. 4 people are here, we can start.
Usual today. Ooh. I think we're live. Are we live? I can't even tell. There we go. There she blows. All right. What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? 5 times. What's up?
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Cinco de Paco.
It's Tuesday, right? Yeah. Happy Tuesday. All right, guys. It's the bus stop live check-in. Do this ever since October 11th, 2023, when I got arrested at my kid's bus stop by Brian Tully and the state police, charged with all sorts of witness intimidation and picketing and being too free and that sort of stuff. And
being too free.
We started filming in case they tried to do it again. Arrest me, that is, and it's become a tradition now. You might notice I'm not at the bus stop today, and I'm also here a little more early than usual because they just dropped the kids off today. They had a fitness club or something. They're doing some sort of preschool activity.
Tell everybody
school thing. I don't know. They want to get fit. So
do the minivan.
It's her daughter's birthday today too, so she's good.
I should.
And it's a beautiful day, so we dropped them off there, and now it's better this way.
I just think that he should not be. You should not be. Why do you tell everybody everything that you do? There's just like no, there's no mystery to this. There's no like, oh, I wonder what this guy is like without the camera on. Nope. It's what you get, guys. 24/7. Just like.
I mean, the day should start earlier. The day starts too late. The elementary schools, they start too late. Next thing you know, it's like 9:30. At the bus stop live. So I'm like, where'd the day go?
Where'd the day go? It's 9:30 in the morning. Where's the day?
And right now I'm on my way. I gotta go to the Toyota dealership because my key fob, more key fob issues. My key fob runs out of battery all the time. Like, it should not happen. This is like the 3rd time I think I'm gonna have to get a new battery for this in less than a year. That's not normal, right? Like, that should not be the way that it is. And you go to any Toyota dealership or Lexus dealership, and they will switch it out for you for a couple bucks or whatever. You can do it for free, who knows? But it's like, it should not be happening this often, right?
What are you doing with it?
And
why don't you ask them that? Tell them what you're doing with it. I mean, I don't know.
I hate it. It's another thing with, like, you guys rant about new technology. Yeah, new technology is cool and all until it's not. You never had this problem. Like, so what happens if the key fob just stops working? Then what? What do you do then? Because I don't have one of those things on the inside of it. This happened before. I couldn't start the car. I don't know what Anyway, And don't tell me there's a thing on the inside. I tried that whole thing. There's nothing there. This keep in mind, this is the backup key fob. Main key fob is in South Boston. Okay. And I'm never getting that back. And I don't know what to do. I don't
Like, he just cannot not talk about that girl. Like, Jesus, I'm dead.
know what that person can do with a key fob like that, but I don't care. I just want to. But then it's just a matter.
I don't care, but I'm going to talk about it for fucking 5 minutes.
You got to go to the Lexus dealership, right? And you got to drop the car off there for the day.
You have to adult. God damn.
I assume, and they plug it into the computer. They have to computerize it. I've heard it's like $700 or some nonsense like that. Great.
They're expensive. But whenever you buy an expensive vehicle, everything to do with it is expensive. Okay. Like, I mean, is this guy a fucking idiot? He's just dumb.
Awesome. More money. Never ends. At least that's what I've been told happens, is that, but, so it's just a matter of getting around to doing it. And so I'll have to, but yeah. So that's one thing I need to do today. Yeah, it's a beautiful day out too. I'm going to walk, we're going to walk home from school today. I decided no bus. It's a beautiful day. So that's the thing. My new house is like right near the school. So, good exercise. Get you to walk home. They should get used to that. But, you better learn how to change battery. Yeah, I mean, but you gotta go get the battery. I don't know. I'm just going to the dealership. I'm on my way to the Toyota dealership right now to do that. And then I'll get my day started. So I'll tell you one thing though. I listened yesterday. I was driving last night and this morning, and I had a chance to listen to the whole day one of the Steph Diggs trial. And boy, this is so entertaining. This is great. I love it. I love it. I'll be watching it all today too. I don't know what we did to deserve this, but it's so good. And it's like, so if you guys haven't seen it, Steph Diggs, former New England Patriot, I don't even know I don't even think he's signed with anyone right now, but All-Star, Pro Bowl receiver. Because I'm on my phone. I can't read my messages. Like, I have no way to defend myself. It's such bullshit. The Commonwealth gave me my phone extraction in an unreadable format, and I had to depend on having a girlfriend with a fucking Windows computer, or else I couldn't read it, because for some reason it's not compatible with Mac, because who the hell owns a Mac in 2026? It's not like that's a popular brand or anything like that. God forbid you give the defense the extraction in a format that's readable on a computer, like the most popular computer in the world. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck are you talking about, man?
You're giving him, or I forget what he said. And it's like, when you guys hear that message, who do you think the Commonwealth is trying to get the reader to believe that the bastards who deserve all the scorn is? Who do you guys think he's getting at there? Like, and by the way, if anybody wants to have their messages read, Turtle Chat is linked. It should be pinned there. So click on that, or cash out me $1 Uncle Turtleboy. Who do you guys think the Commonwealth is trying to suggest that David Yannetti is saying deserves my scorn? Like, who do you think the Commonwealth is alleging that? Who's the bastards he's talking about? Yeah, the McAlberts, right? Like, they're clearly trying to get you to believe that he's talking about the McAlberts there. That all those bastards, the McAlberts, they deserve all the scorn you're giving them. That, I mean, why else would they put it in the context of witness intimidation, right? So just remember that. We're going to save that little nugget for the fundraiser. We're going to show those messages for the first time and see what they actually say, what I said before that. Because I had no idea what I said before that until yesterday. I had no idea. Because I'm on my phone. I can't read my messages. Like, I have no way to defend myself. It's such bullshit. The Commonwealth gave me my phone extraction in an unreadable format, and I had to depend on having.
You're telling me May 5th of 2026, you have not gone through your goddamn phone extractions? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you banned from having them? I'm just, what?
A girlfriend with the fucking Windows computer, or else I couldn't read it, because for some reason it's not compatible with Mac, because who the hell owns a Mac in 2026? It's not like that's a popular brand or anything like that. God forbid you give the defense the extraction in a format that's readable on a computer, like the most popular computer in the world. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so the context, when you see the context of that, you're just gonna be like, holy shit. So anyway, that's what got me thinking about that. The fundraiser is gonna be awesome. The fundraiser is gonna be awesome. I'm probably not gonna do a show the night before, because this is gonna be the show. And the lineups I'll have the whole lineup coming soon. But we're gonna start. The Radner brothers gonna come on first. Okay. And
the who?
From there, the Radner brothers gonna come on first. Okay. And from there, it's just going to be, Radner Brothers going to come, have the whole lineup coming soon. But we're going to the Radner Brothers going to come on first. Okay.
Oh, Brother Council, the Radner Brothers. Is that where you're going to announce that they're representing you?
And from there, it's just going to be, we're going to have Vince and Sam coming on around 2, I think. And then David and Melanie. You'll see, it's an action-packed lineup.
David
okay?
and
Action-packed
Melanie.
lineup. But it's going to be dope. All right. And people like, get a Windows computer. You're up to middle
David Yannetti? Is that who he's talking about? David?
class. Motherfucker, it's the principal. Shouldn't have to buy a computer just that's readable. How about that? How about they do that? And I mean, I want to raise a buttload of money with this. I need it, quite frankly. So also on that note, we're going to be, I'm going to have some sort of press release probably today about who my attorney is, that I've hired. And there's some people like the antis are so, no, he hasn't filed an appearance yet. But that's, we'll see. So, these antis are like, oh my God, he can't find a lawyer. No, just, you don't need to know all the details about why he's not filing an appearance until today. You should be filing an appearance. So the
okay, it's a guy. He's filing an appearance today, guys, on Cinco de Mayo. Woo! Take the doors off, drop the top, get your dicks hard. Turtleboy's got an attorney.
like they check it regularly. So like it's something like, who cares? First of all, who cares who my lawyer is?
Who cares?
Why do you care so much? Like, does that make Julie Carpenter really seems to care about who my lawyer is for some reason? Okay. But
she calls him Pipsqueak. Get representation, Pipsqueak. Like, what the fuck? She calls him Pipsqueak.
Yeah, you can. Why? So you can like look them up and find out all their dark secrets and smear them and do what they always do. Okay, all the shit that they accuse me of. Go ahead. My lawyer is excellent. I have full confidence in my lawyer. And also, Bradle and Bettero are going to be filing appearances as well. Okay. And
we knew Bettero was not going to sit this one out. He wants a chance to play with the big dogs, making all the rules.
And yeah, but anyway, so there's that. Yeah, and back to the Steph Diggs thing. So she has been deleting all these messages on her phone. And of course she's fucked. I mean, this guy is I didn't know Steph Diggs at all before this, but he's like exactly what I imagined he would be. He says like a harem bitches of hoes, as you will. And the cook is one of the hoes. And she got mad because one of the other hoes, I guess, his name Lindsay, is had more, she's a cross between Higgy and Jen McCabe. Kinda. It's like, anyway, like what he's being accused of is serious. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's strangulation.
I
mean, it's kind of serious.
Doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's all they got pictures. She got no marks, no bruises. She's got videos of her dancing. Immediately afterwards, she flew to New York with her friends. She took pictures. She looks great. Like nothing. She has like every motive to lie. It's just like she comes across as dishonest, and it's like, and money hungry and jealous. And
she comes across as money hungry. Dude, God, what do you come across as, Aiden? Just this lovable nut that you just can't wait to bust.
Somebody who's been falsely accused of things before, I'm with Steph Diggs on this one. There's no fucking way this guy gets convicted. There's no way. And I can't wait for other witnesses, like other people that are gonna get up there and either corroborate what she's. I'm so looking forward to watching the rest of this trial. Even if he was convicted of this, nothing would happen to him.
Why
first time offense.
Why doesn't he go and cover the case?
Like you don't go to jail for this. But especially in this state, especially with Jean Marie Carroll. Jean Marie Carroll, I've written about her before. Look her up on my website. She's horrible. Like, she is the most lenient judge in the world. And like, what the fuck? Who did she let go? She's famous. She got some cop killed. Hold on, I want to find this.
She got some cop
killed. You see, Jean Marie Carroll.
Still searching for it.
One guy yesterday on Twitter was so mad about this Sephora thing. He's like, he claims he's broke, but he's going to Sephora. Like, what? Bitch, this ain't Gucci. It's in a Kohl's, motherfucker. Do you know what Sephora?
Yeah, Sephora is in Kohl's, and I can't believe people are just talking about that. Like that's talking about kids is ridiculous.
They have a kiosk in the Kohl's. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I just follow her around. Like, she puts you in the basket, and I paid for it. Like, and you got a credit card. It's a rewards card, motherfucker. It helps you save money. They offer it to you. You got a free birthday gift with it. Like, why wouldn't I do that? It's not a
You
credit
also get like an extra 30 or 40% off. I forget. Our Kohl's, they have Sephora in them.
card. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's like, so you have to, what are the, and these are the same people who will criticize me and
I
say
just can't believe that he's even talking about it. Why are you even giving it air? What a fucking idiot.
that, oh, he doesn't, oh, you have an audio of him secretly recorded that one individual decided to.
How about the Celtics suck? They lost. Cleveland, game 1. Let's go tonight. Let's go. Let's go, Cleveland. I mean, who fucking can like just wham, 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 wham.
And that's it. That's it. So, you know, is what it is. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. That just shows that, yeah, this motherfucker doesn't like wasting money and, you know, is
just fucking cheap ass here. Just a total frugal fuck. I know.
having a normal conversation about a budget that lots of people have in a household. Anyway, so where's they going with this? Oh, yes. Now they're saying
nobody knows. You just say whatever.
They're like, oh, so let me get this straight. First, I'm too cheap. I'm not getting, like, when I don't blindly pay for everything, I'm a horrible parent.
What?
Then on a fucking kid's birthday, nonetheless, when you get them something and you let them have nice things on their birthday, that's also being a bad parent because you're spending too much money. It's like, what? What is, and also, who cares how empty is your life that this bothers you, man? How empty is your life?
How empty is your life that you're responding to somebody that you don't, what are you doing? What are you doing?
How much she did to Mike. I think she said something that I highlighted on the show about that, like, oh, people should reconsider. It's healthy to reconsider. I forget exactly what she said. I've never had to reconsider Karen Reed's innocence. So, and then he goes, I go, she.
No, you make people reconsider Karen Reed's innocence. You. That's what you do to people.
She goes, yeah. And Eden said that she and I need to apologize to Karen. This guy needs help if he thinks anyone other than himself owes Karen an apology. So here he is. He doesn't speak for her. He totally doesn't speak for her. But yet he's out here saying that I owe her an apology. What the fuck is that any of his business? It's none of his business. Okay. But he thinks he's like her defender.
Well, yeah, you do. Because everything that you've done is public. So then you publicly owe her an apology. I mean, were you dropped on the head multiple times as a child?
Like, and I go, you guys said it was okay to doubt her innocence. Disgusting. I said, apologize, traitor. You can say whatever you want I've said about her. I've never once said that maybe she's guilty or that it's okay.
What? Yeah. You cried when she wouldn't do a fucking a live with you, that you cried and called her a cunt and all of these things that, like, absurd.
To, change your mind on that. I've never said that. You have. And then this is his response. He goes, yet she still talks to me. I bet you wish you could say the same. And then he does the winking, like, heart kiss emoji. A man did that. The winking heart kiss emoji. Yet she still talks to me. And I go, she still talks to me. Cringe, bro. Cringe. Like, imagine saying that as a grown man. She still talks to me. So
yeah, like, Karen Reed still talks to me, but she doesn't talk to you. She'll never talk to you again. Karen Reed will never, ever let this man smell her ass, let alone talk to him.
Like, breaking that down, it's just like that. You have no idea.
Like saying, like, we're going to get the band back together and me and Karen have to figure out what we're going to do here. This shit is not comical. I don't know what is. You and Karen Reed got to figure out what's going on. The fuck out of here, dude.
Bro, that's what everybody says about you. That, like, you just proved everybody right about you. She still talks to me. Like, that's your whole identity, Nick.
Ooh.
Is like, I talk to Karen Reed. I'm cool. That's literally the criticism everyone has of you, is that you think you're fucking cool and special because you get to talk to Karen Reed. You're so cool, bro. You talk to Karen like she's a fucking celebrity, bro. It's
She was a celebrity. I am dead. Oh my God, this is fucking priceless. He's the one that said Karen Reed is a fucking celebrity. This is hilarious. He's the one that said that. She's like a celebrity. If you can't fucking make money with her name, you fucking suck and blah, blah. Karen, get out there and fucking work and get a job, Karen. No one's going to pay for civil fucking cases. Then he gets fucking his ass sued. Hey guys, gonna have this civil defense fundraiser. How about write a fucking story? How about cover a case? How about do some journalism? You haven't done anything since Karen Reed's case. You've made fun of Lauren Matthias. Again, not covering a case. What have you talked? Then you went after your ex-girlfriend. Then you went after your ex-mod. What the fuck have you done since the Karen Reed case? What case have you covered? You didn't even cover Kelsey Fitzsimmons because, well, I'll reserve my comment on that. But you made it seem like you did because you showed up a couple days at the courthouse. Go file some FOIAs. Oh, wait. Ted Daniels is too busy doing all the stuff that you think that you can do. Ted Daniels managed to fucking do a shit ton and not get arrested and not get sued. Imagine that.
Weird. It's weird. It's weird. And that's the thing that it doesn't mean like you have to do that. You have to cling to that. Because without your access to Karen Reed, what are you? You're a male hairdresser. At the end of the day, that's all you are. You're a male hairdresser. So like the only
this is all about Nick Rocco? Jesus Christ, shut up. Oh my God. I thought he was ranting about some random on Twitter. He is fucking, oh my God. He is so jealous of Nick Rocco. He's jealous of, I think, who Nick Rocco gets to bang. Jealous that he has like a family that's like, you know, functioning together. Is in Alan Jackson's circle.
Only thing you have going for you that makes you at all relevant is the fact that you can text Karen Reed. You have her phone number. You're so.
That's not what bothers him. What bothers this man is that Nick Rocco has access to Alan Jackson.
Oh, cool, bro. You get to text her. That's so cool.
He doesn't care.
Wow, what's she really like? Did you get her autograph? Did you get to get like a picture with her, man? That's so cool, man. Wow. Wow, you get to talk to Karen Reed. We're all so impressed by that, dude. I cannot believe a grown man actually put that in writing. That she still talks to me. I bet you wish you could say the same. No, bitch. No, bitch. I don't care. That's the thing about it. It's like, first of all, how do you know I don't talk to Karen Reed? Secondly, also, who cares? Like, I'm fine. I've existed before Karen Reed. I'll exist after Karen Reed. You haven't. No one, you're just a male hairdresser before this.
Before Karen Reed, and I'm gonna exist after. Motherfucker, OMG. OMG. Should we show the minivan? Should we show what the fuck you were doing before Karen Reed? You are catching, like, you're going to be a felon. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it.
Who, like, literally the only reason, and this is why no one has any respect for you, is because the only reason you're at all relevant to anything is because you get to talk. You get to talk to Karen Reed as if it's something like people should aspire to do. It's so gay.
Do you understand that Nick Rocco raised a shit ton of the of that million? I think Nick Rocco accounted for like over half of that money. Look at this man, unhinged, 5'5", 2026, sitting in the parking lot of a Toyota dealership. Fucking insane. Nick Rocco, keep doing what you're doing. Fucking love a good Italian last name, Rocco Oriani. What do you, come on, Paisan. Oh my God. This is hilarious. I just, wow.
Tell me I'm allowed to speak. Because why haven't you done a show? What's stopping? It's your show, right? It's not their show. It's your show. You're not the spokesperson. You have like a mind of your own. So why don't you do a show? Why don't you talk about something? Do you even know how any of this shit works? I don't know.
Karen Reed. This is not that. Like, look at him. He's trying to bait him into going live, because, hey, I can't be the only asshole out here running my mouth still. Come on. Come on. Nobody falls for your fucking games anymore. That's why I was an hour late to this stupid show that I was doing today. Okay? Because real life takes precedent over Aiden Carney's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Listen to Spaces with the Glare, and you killed it. Yeah, I went on a Spaces last night with Sparkly Rabbit, and I just went at it with this Jules chick. And I listed, I talked about all the reasons I can't wait to take the stand, and blah blah blah. It's go check it out. It's great.
I can't wait to take the stand. It's great. Then why'd you push your case back so fucking long? Karen Reed went through 2 murder trials quicker than you fucking are pansying up here for some stupid witness intimidation charges. You puss platter. Oh my God. Did you see how white his face got? Oh, we have this in November. He said, come on, Adam Deitch has to be in. Come on, push this back so once Adam Deitch takes over, they'll drop this.
Sparkly Rabbit's got some great spaces on there. So, all right, let me read some more. Do we have any more?
He's sitting in a fucking Toyota parking lot right now. Right. If that isn't the puss platter.
That Spaces was out of control. I only listened for a bit, but all right. Joanna sends $10. Goes, hi, Turtleboy. Will was streaming Sparkly Rabbit Spaces last night. Your rapid fire of the facts was the bomb. You nailed it within 20 seconds. Loved it. Have a great day and happy birthday to your daughter. Thank you so much, Joanna. I appreciate that. It was great. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I just heard when was going on, and so I'm like, there's some antis on there, and I love roasting antis. And my main thing with these people, and I'm going to keep saying it, is
Turtleboy. Why haven't you debated me in your case yet? That's what I thought. Name the place. Name the place, Turtle Tits. Fuck out of here. Make sure you wear that shirt that says Google House Long so I can show how I used your screen live to prove that you lied about when and where you met up with Karen Reed's peeps.
When are you guys going to admit Hank fucked up? Why can't you admit it? What? And I'm like, he picked that jury. Well, the jury pool was all tainted by them. So you guys gave up? How come you weren't saying that going into the trial? None of these people were like, well, this is hopeless. She's going to be acquitted no matter what because Turtleboy tainted the jury pool. There's nothing. You guys didn't say that going in. If there were receipts of you guys going into that trial saying this is a lost cause, we can't convict her because Turtleboy, then I would give you some sort of credit. But you weren't saying that. You were saying, oh, she's going down. Hank's going to get her. This and that. Fuck around, find out. There was a lot. What happened to fuck around, find out? What happened to that? And all I heard was how Hank was playing chess, not checkers, picking a jury pool. And it was a great jury, and they're going to convict her and blah, blah, blah. And then nothing like that happened. So there's that.
There's that.
So I just want them to admit that.
There's that. I don't know why that gets me every time. There's that. There's that. It's too about time to be for lunch.
I want them to admit that Hank failed. Is that too much to ask for? Yeah. All right. Do we have any? Okay. All right. Yeah, my key fob ladder lasted whole years. Yeah, I mean, what's going on like with the key fob thing? I don't know. All right, let me just check the Cash App before I run in. I'm at the Toyota dealership now.
You've been there. Look at how long he's been there. Look at this. Look at
like what percentage of cases are acquitted? And right the cook is one of the hoes, and she got mad. Right, and I'm working. What I mean?
Look at this. 1606. So. And here. I'm here. No, bitch, you've been there for fucking 18 minutes. Okay.
So I just want them to admit that.
I just want them to admit
I just want them to admit that Hank failed. Is that too much to ask for? Yeah. All right. Do we have any? Okay. All right. Yeah, my key fob ladder lasted whole years. Yeah, I mean, what's going on like with the key fob thing? I don't know. All right, let me just check the Cash App before I run in. I'm at the Toyota dealership now.
Oh yeah, let me check my Cash App.
Open the fucking door. It's hot. Stuff it.
Hey, Lana, cheers. Turtle tits for life. Ah, shit.
Will doing the chicken impression. I got to see that. The Cash App's not loading for some reason. Come on, Cash App, open.
Oh God.
How about those NFL playoffs? Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be an Avalanche against Hurricanes final. I think that's what we're destined to have.
How about those Celtics?
They're kidding. Our series is supposed to be good. I think Montreal's favored in that slightly.
Oh, by the way, go watch the new Michael that came out, Michael Jackson movie. That's Michael Jackson, the teenager when he gets older. That's his nephew that plays Michael. It's fucking awesome.
Just no love for Buffalo. And then they'll get killed by the Avalanche. It's going to be Avalanche Hurricanes. It has to be those show tonight. I'm almost positive. Just got to double check some things. But anyway, you guys all then. And all right. So anyway, I'm going to go get my key fob fixed. But we'll see you guys all. Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah. So it's live show night. So we'll see you guys all then. And, don't forget, I think I'll do the show tonight. I'm almost positive. Just got to double check some things. But anyway.
I think I'm going to do my show tonight. You do 2 live shows a week. I'm just dead. Oh my God. Let's run a Alwood, she's gotten 5 people green. Let's run a poll here. I'm just curious if Turtleboy is going to be fighting his civil case from behind prison against the House defendants, the Commonwealth witnesses here, because I think he is. So, and who do we think is going to be his lawyer? Well, he kind of, I think, gave it away when he said he's going to kick off with the Radner brothers. Do we think that brother counsel's brother is going to be representing him? That's my front runner right now, is brother counsel's brother. That's what I think he's going to do. Let me check my schedule packed with court appearances and ratchetness. Let me see what I got going on later. Well, the Cavs are playing tonight. So I just hilarious to me.
Jimmy nailed his turtle chat impression. I got to see that. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. PC Bum Crease. Howdy.
Okay. Hopefully he got his key fob. All right. Thank you so much, Turtleboy, for giving us those laughs. Curious. As we go back over here, all I have to say is this proposed order. It seals everything up. No one's getting their hands on stuff. It's only for the lawyers, and there's, it's just going to be, yeah. God, Karen Reed's probably just taking a fucking brick and going like this. Fuck. Why? Sorry. I'm sorry, but Aiden, thank you so much. I have to thank you for you're just being an idiot. Thank you. Thank you for my entertainment.
We were doing it this time last year. We were in Dedham every day. It's so different. This is my first spring in 3 years that I haven't spent in Dedham. 2023 is the last time I didn't. This time 3 years ago, I was, writing the whole story. I was learning more every day, writing more, publishing more, etc. And then 24 was trial 1 in the spring. I was there every day from, I think, April 16th was the first day of jury selection, all the way till July 1st was when the mistrial was declared. And then the second one, April 1st was the first day of jury selection, and we were there every day until, remember, I kept losing the lottery, actually, so I wasn't there every day. And I couldn't get in, but I still.
I remember, you lied to everybody and acted like you were totally cool with Karen Reed during this whole entire time, but yet you weren't.
Try to go as much as possible. But, remember DePetro and Grant kept winning, and then Grant couldn't go because just Shadow kept winning, or was winning at first. I don't know, it was fucking crazy. Grant ended up getting in a little bit. We like Grant now, though, right? I mean, whatever, I don't care. I mean, people Grant said some shit about me, a lot of shit about me. I just don't care. I just don't care. I never when he said it, because I'm like, it's just Grant, you know what I mean? Who cares? When you're secure in who you are and you know that you're not what they say you are, then it doesn't matter what people say. That's what I say.
Oh my God, this was his message yesterday. And then he comes out here and goes fucking ham on Nikki haircuts. Dude, this guy needs a fucking padded room and he needs some medication. Okay. This is
confident in who you are, people. That's my fortune cookie turtle of the day. All right, we're almost back. Our people say you are, then it doesn't matter what people say. That's what I say. Be confident in who you are, people. That's my fortune cookie turtle of the day.
Even when you're wrong as fuck, okay? Even when you fucking defame the fuck out of people, be confident in that shit. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Moderators, we love you. Audi.